So one of the things I'm always been asked to do is talk about what I eat and do some recipes. Now, I will do a video actually on what I eat, but it is extremely simple fare and quite repetitive to some people, but it's just perfect for me because I like a simple life. But I will do a recipe, and it's one of my favourite. It's organic, or mostly organic, granola, and I absolutely love it. I've actually eaten granola roughly around this recipe since I was about 18. So that's getting close to, what, 30 years. And I used to get it from my mum, and she was ran a health food shop, and she used to get it from a place called Suma. It was called Nutty Crunch. And eventually they stopped making it, and so I stopped eating granola for quite a few years. And then I managed off the web to find a search for the label for this Nutty Crunch, and I got the ingredients list from that, and then I tried to find a recipe that roughly matched the same list of ingredients, and eventually over the years I've kind of iterated it to just get it just to my taste, and lots of people really like it. I've shared it a few times. Anyway, I'm going to share it today with you. Okay, so here's my quick recipe for granola. So for the binding agent, I've got organic butter, organic coconut oil, organic malt extract and organic molasses. Now I'll try for the processed ingredients to get those organic if I can. I think processing kind of concentrates things, and so they're the best ones to try and get organic if you can spare the money. And basically I just mix all of those together in a pan. Now I have two pans because I also have two of these mixing bowls. I make up quite big batches because it takes a long time to do, so I want to minimise the amount of wasted time and energy. So this is a mix of porridge oats and jumbo oats. I'm never quite sure what the exact mix should be. I've tried all sorts of different things. It always tastes fine whichever I do, so I don't really mind. So in this case I think it's roughly 250 or 200 grams of porridge and 500 grams of jumbo, and again those are organic. So what we need to do then is we need to get these melted on a really low heat. So fortunately our gas stove has got some burners that are really small and really low heat. So I'm going to pop those on and keep an eye on them, because I really don't want them to kind of get above just the melting temperature of butter, which is just above the coconut oil. So I've got these nice long spoons which don't fall in, and basically I'll just give this a bit of a stir. So you really do not want this to boil because you're not trying to make toffee. So what I do is I just get it warmed up a little bit, and then I turn both of these off, and then I will leave that to melt, and I'll turn it on again for a few seconds and then leave it to melt, and within about 2 minutes it's all nicely mixed up. So while the fats are melting, I get on with the nuts, preparing the nuts. So we've got Brazil nuts, almonds, walnuts, pecan, cashew. Doesn't really matter which mix of nuts you have, but I like about at least a quarter of the granola to be nuts. And I really go for the walnuts and the Brazil nuts are the main ones I go for in my mix. And then I go for a mixed seed mix, and then I add extra sunflower seeds to that because there's loads of vitamin E in those, and I don't want to cook these, so I add these on top later on, but at the moment I'm just going to chop these up into nice bite-sized chunks. And for a bit of sweetness I'll also add some banana chips, and these really make a difference for me. They're really crunchy and crispy, and as I said, nice and sweet. So I've gone for 100 grams of mixed seeds in total. I like to chop the almonds up, but you could leave them whole if you want, but I just like the mix that you get when you chop your nuts up a little bit, but I think in theory it's probably a little bit healthier if you leave them intact. And then I'm aiming for about 120 grams of Brazil nuts, and as I say, I really like lots of Brazil nuts because they're one of the few sources of selenium in my diet. I just need a few more of those. Pecans are my least favourite nut, but I do like diversity, so I've got 40 grams of those. And walnuts are my favourite nut, so I've got 120 grams of those, and they're so easy to break up with your fingers. I don't chop those, I just snap them. And I would normally have about 80 grams of macadamia nuts, but unfortunately I forgot those and they're in the freezer. I do keep macadamia in the freezer because they're very expensive and they don't last that long. So, but they freeze really well, and so you can reuse them later. But anyway, so cashews today instead, and because I'm an 80-20 sort of person, 80% of what I eat is super healthy and 20% is not so healthy. I'm putting about 100 grams of banana chips in there as well, and I break those up. So I'll come back to the binding mix and giving it a good stir around, and it's now all nice and runny. You want it nice and runny like this because it's got to coat all of those oats, and there's not very much really here for such a large amount of oats. So you make a well, pour the mix in, but you end up with lots of mix still in here, and you need it all. So I just put some oats in there just to soak it up. So when you're doing this, you basically just fold in the edges into the centre, which is a bit difficult to do one-handed, and gradually mixing it around. And it does seem, when you get started, that you've got nowhere near enough of the binding mixture and way too many oats. But eventually, by the time you get finished, everything's coated and you can see the difference between these two. So then just put that one aside and do the next one. So let's try that folding technique again. Just taking it from the side, moving it to the bottom. And amazingly, it does end up coating everything. Okay, so we need trays lined with greaseproof paper, and I've got 3 of these really big ones. These are as big as we can get into our oven. This is all nicely done. The oven is preheated to 200 degrees. So I'll just pour this in here. And get it spread out and press down. So I use this spatula for levelling, and then I just sort of tamp it down with the spatula because we want it nice and firm so that everything sticks together, so it's all nice and crunchy. There we go, that's 1 down. 2 down, about as deep as the baking tray. So I have 3 trays in the oven there. I have to use the bottom shelf, and I'm going to turn them around later on to make for even cooking. So that's on 200 or thereabouts. So that's going to cook for 12 minutes, and that's the first half of the cooking period, just long enough to get the washing up done. Being good recyclers, we use these for cat litter, and you can see there the benefit of putting a bit of oats in the pan just to soak up all that binding agent. It makes for a lot easier cleanup. And because there's so many moving parts to this recipe, it actually has its own recipe box, and that's just now waiting for that greaseproof paper to go in because that gets reused many times. So now we drop the oven down to 60, and you can see top, middle, bottom. All these now need breaking up a little bit, so just use a spoon, just work through otherwise you'll just have a solid mass that you can't get out, and you still have lots of nice crispy, crunchy rather, chunks. And then we pop that back to the oven for another 20 minutes at 160 degrees. So this is the way I want it to end up, this kind of golden brown colour. Doesn't matter if there's just a tiny little bit that is just a little bit burnt on the edges there. Still tastes really good, as long as it's not the whole tray. And the one on the bottom just needs, I think, about 2 more minutes, so I've left that off. And I'm going to put it in these sealed jars. I think it's pretty important that it's sealed because you have got raw nuts in there, so, and they've been broken up or cut, and so they are kind of exposed to the air, so you want to keep the air to a minimum so they don't oxidize. So just leave it to cool for 10 minutes and then add the sprinkles on top. And in my case, I do like to put a few of these glacé cherries on as well. So when I'm mixing it, I just lift it up by the edges of this and make a funnel and just drop it into this wide topped container, and that gives it quite a good mix. And I pour it from this container into one of these containers, and that gives it a double mix, and so then it's all perfect and ready to go. And I'll just seal these up, and these last me about 8 days or so. So I hope you like this quick video, bit out of the ordinary for me, but my first recipe video. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.